Welcome everyone to another CTC Software webinar. My name is Sean Zerbis, the Director of BIM Development here at CTC Software, and today we're going to be continuing the HIVE CMS User Learning Series, discussing in detail how you can actually review content, look at the reviews, add your own reviews, things like that. As always, of course, these webinars are recorded, and also, of course, as always, if you have questions while we're talking about some of these topics, we encourage you to throw them into the GoToWebinar questions window, and we try to answer them while we're talking about that topic. Or, barring that, we have a huge Q&A session that we save at the end if there's questions that roll through that we couldn't answer live. So definitely feel free to leverage that. So let's jump in and kind of discuss what we're going to talk about today. So we've all kind of heard the old, hey, these are not the droids you're looking for, but in the HIVE environment, sometimes we find a piece of content and we're like, yeah, is this what I'm looking for? Is it not what I'm looking for? And then we try to go use it. And sometimes it's exactly what we're looking for. If we've inspected the details correctly, we load it into our project and it works perfectly, that's the whole purpose of HIVE. But once in a while, we come across something, we were expecting it to do one thing and it doesn't work the way we were expecting. And that's kind of frustrating. Or worse, this is the worst possible solution here. Something went very wrong with that piece of content. And that's a big deal because it could potentially either just not insert into our project at all, or it might insert but break some things. It might cause some model corruption if it's really poor content. And that's very much not ideal, right? The goal is to avoid that, of course. Our admins should be adding really quality content into HIVE. But, worst case scenario, something goes very wrong. And we want to make sure that we have an ability to communicate with them, leave a review so that they know, like, hey, this is a problem. And so end users have the ability to send reviews. They can leave reviews. We as end users, if that's our role, we can leave reviews and let the administrators of the content know exactly what's going on here. So we're going to talk about that process in detail today and exactly how you or your end users can go in and actually review content. We're going to be talking about 4 specific topics: how to access content reviews and look at what they are from an end user's point of view. We are going to talk about creating a brand new review for a piece of content. We're going to update a review we've left before if that content has been updated and now perhaps works better. And we're also going to take a look at how we can filter content that has good ratings or good reviews on it so we can find good quality stuff. And since I'm not big on death by PowerPoint, I'm going to jump in and talk about this live inside the HIVE CMS space. Now, I want to be clear about something. I don't typically do this, but today I'm going to be demonstrating from a preview build of HIVE. It's the same functionality, but I'm testing some new stuff, and I didn't have time before our discussion today to uninstall the preview build. So we're going to be using some demo software. I want to mention that because in case something goes sideways today and doesn't work as expected, that might be why. Though it's unexpected that it'll do that. I've pretty well tested this out. It should work fine. I'm going to pin HIVE to the foreground, and we're going to use this here to talk, first of all, about how to access content reviews. So with anything in HIVE, we've talked about this window before, but you can go to the Details panel. And the Details panel, when it opens up, will highlight and pull the details for any piece of content that's currently selected. I'm also currently, right now today, signed in as Joe Demo. And my demo user here has access now to the type catalog information about this particular Revit family, which is the kind of content that I'm focusing on right now. And if I select a particular type here, it's going to pull back the parameters for it and give me some of the detail about that particular piece of content. I can see things like the manufacturer and the data and whatever. We've talked about this before. So this is how I can discover more information about the family. I can see things like what tags are associated, who added it, what the Revit category or AutoCAD category happens to be for something, and version association. You can see a lot of data. But right up here at the very top, you'll see a current rating for this family. This is currently a 1-star rated piece of content. And if I expand out the reviews for that content, I will notice that I actually was the one who left this review before. It's a 1-star review left about a year or so ago. And it indicates that this particular door breaks when it's inserted into a wall thinner than 4 inches. So I can help set the expectation for other users. Now, since that review, I've tested this door and I've actually marked it as one of my favorite pieces of content because it no longer breaks underneath that criteria in thin walls that are thinner than 4 inches. I was inserting it into a 3-inch insulation wall once. and I noticed that was a problem. But we've since fixed it, and I've never updated my review. So today, I'm actually going to go ahead and do that. I'm going to update my review today. But you can also look down here. There's another door, like this sliding ICS patient door for a medical facility, sliding patient access. This one has no reviews. I can see that up here, the stars are all blank. It says 0 reviews, and we're just going to write a little sample review today so we can actually take a look at how we can create a review ourselves. So to write a brand new review, we simply click the Write a Review button. Now I want to point something else out. I'm going to run a different search entirely. I'm going to come back to this in just a moment here and write this review, but there are times, depending on the rights that you have to libraries, for example, in my Standards and Procedures library, let's uncheck this and reapply. In my Standards and Procedures library, I don't have any right in here to actually write a review on any kind of content. And so the Write a Review button is actually grayed out. I won't be able to use it. In fact, I can expand it to read reviews, but I can't get to the Write a Review button. That may happen if your admins have disabled the ability to leave reviews on specific libraries. But generally speaking, in your AutoCAD and Revit content libraries, it's highly likely that you'll be able to leave reviews. So I'm going to go ahead and go back to that door that I was talking about a moment ago here, and we're going to leave a review, a sample review for this particular piece of content. So this is taking a second to refresh. Again, this is slow because it's in my staging environment, but regardless here, this should work fine. So I can leave any star rating of review or completely unrated if I just want to leave a comment here. I'm going to leave like a 3-star rating on this. We'll use that in the future. And I'm just going to put in here sample comment for this particular piece of content. I have nothing to say about it right now, so I'll probably come back and delete this review in the future. But for now, I'm just going to go ahead and leave a 3-star rating on that particular piece of content there. And so that rating now is visible to everybody. When I mouse over this, it tells me it's a 3-star rating, tells me up here it's a 3-star rating as the overall. This will give me the average of everybody's rating if I get more ratings. And it will give me the ability to see when, who left the review, when it was left, what time, and what the review here happens to be, sample comment in this case. So speaking about editing a review, in fact, let's just delete this guy. Well, no, we'll leave this here for now because we're going to use this in a minute. Let's take a look also at the concept of updating past reviews. So if you've left a review for something and that content has now been improved upon and your review is no longer relevant, or maybe you want to improve upon it since now it's better, like I will take this single swing door that had a 1-star rating. I'm going to click the Edit Your Review button right there and modify this. This door is fantastic for everything. Whatever, right? So I can leave that and update my rating to a 5-star rating, and I can repost my review if I want to. You can think of this a lot like shopping on Amazon or pretty much anywhere else. You can leave reviews, you can update your reviews, you can help the community understand how healthy this piece of content is. And in my case, since it's one of my favorites, it's obviously a really good piece of content. So that's simple. You just simply update your reviews. Now, sometimes you might want to come back and delete a review, and just to the right here, there's a delete your review option, which completely removes your rating and your comment from that piece of content. And we'll do that a little later. I don't have that as one of my bullet points, but we will come back and do that. First, though, I want to talk about how we can filter content results by ratings. A little while ago, I did a webinar on how you can go through the exercise of doing some slightly more advanced filtering. We have that recorded in our webinar series here. But we're going to leverage that slightly more advanced filtering today because maybe I don't want to go through and get content that's poorly rated. So down here in my advanced filters, you can expand and collapse these advanced filters here. In the advanced filter area, there's a minimum rating option that exists. So it has to be at least the rating that this slider is at for you to be able to use it. Now, you may not be able to see it on your screen. I can see it on my screen. There's little tick marks inside of here. So 0-star, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And if I was to slide this over here, for example, to the 2-star slot, I can hit apply here, and it will rerun my search in this particular library, but it will also tell me that it's only going to find content that is at least a minimum rating of 2 stars or better. Anything that's lower than that, it won't find that content for me. So in this case, you'll notice this single swing door now is showing up because it's actually a 5-star rating. And in fact, you'll see that average rating has updated up here. It's recalculated itself and figured out that yes, indeed, it's a 5-star rating because there's only one rating that gave it 5 stars in this case. So you can leverage the quality of content here and filter by the ratings of content. I'm using this right now on a specific library just for Revit content for doors, but this same technique here in the advanced filters of using this minimum rating slider here will let you say, my content that I'm getting back must be at least this good. All right. So that is a nice little powerful feature there that you can leverage. So one final thing here, I did want to take a look at deleting an actual rating, and we'll see this actually disappear then from my search results once I remove this. This is my sample rating that I put on this in today's discussion, sample content, that's at 3 stars. That's greater than 2 stars, so therefore it shows up here. I'm going to simply delete this review. It's going to strip that review from that particular piece of content. There's no longer a review. My stars up here, you'll notice, have refreshed themselves. And the next time I rerun this search with a minimum rating of 2, looking for doors in this particular library, that door will disappear from my results set because it's a 0-star rating. There's no ratings on it. It's so new, no one's liked it yet. So this way, only my 1 door shows up in this case. And just to kind of prove the point here, I'm going to strip this particular filter, I'm going to strip this filter, and I'm also going to strip this filter, so that I have nothing else going on up here. No Revit filters, no AutoCAD filters. The only filter that I'm using in this case is the minimum rating filtration, and I can tell this to go find me everything across the system that has a rating. So I can see here in this case, the mass notification strobe light out of my MEP library happens to have what looks like a 5-star rating in this case. Yeah, it was rated by, well, me on a different account. But you can see that. You can see with those reviews, that's probably one I did in a previous session like this, talking about how to do ratings. But yeah, you can see everybody's ratings for all this content that exists out here. It refreshes in the details panel. Now, of course, you can close the details panel. That filtration still works down here for the minimum rating. You just don't necessarily know why it's working without seeing the actual details for the content, if you cared to see why it was working. Okay, I think that is all I have today. We're probably just going to shut it down today, and we look forward to seeing you in the next CTC webinar. So we hope you all have a fantastic day.